Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at another subscriber review video. Today we've got Andrew, who he sent in squat, bench, and deadlift, so we're going to be doing an SBD day of his. Andrew is super strong, so just kind of a heads up, I'm going to have to be really nitpicky on this one, because as you get stronger and stronger, the kind of quirks get smaller and smaller, because obviously it's very difficult to be very strong with huge glaring issues on lifts. So first here we're taking a look at a squat. This looks like a 705 squat, which is a pretty big lift. I'll go ahead and slow this down to slow motion. The first thing that I do notice, he gets a nice brace right off the bat, but during his walkout, he's kind of released that brace. So you're still actively breathing here, which can cause some instability. I prefer to take that brace in, hold it, and then once you get settled, really re-brace again. And then the second thing with your squat that I noticed, you've got a little bit of knee cave that happens right there. And that's okay. It's going to happen inherently with raw squatting, but I would like you really focus on trying to get the knees back out once they try and rebound in, right? It looks like you just kind of leaned into them caving in and you were just brutally strong enough to finish the lift. But kind of in the future, try and work those knees back out and be patient. And that can add just a little tiny bit of leverage that'll help you in heavier lifts moving forward. So overall, those are the two things I would say for your squat. You could also play around with a slightly narrower stance if you wanted, and that may help that knee cave a tiny bit. But like I said, a little bit of knee cave isn't the end of the world. So very solid squatting there. Next up, we've got his bench. This is 440 pounds for a triple, I believe, which once again, very strong, like I said. First thing I notice is I do see your shoulders seem decently untucked. Kind of watch them between the reps. Your shoulders, I think, could be back and down a little bit more, which will protect you from maybe pec injuries or delt injuries a little bit more. Now, once again, kind of like the squat, I think you're brutally strong enough that you handle it just fine. But you can really kind of see a little bit of that looseness at the bottom. If you watch your elbows as you touch your chest, right? Your elbow right here is under your wrist. And then once you hit your chest, it'll fall towards your face a little bit. And then you have to shove those back towards the rack in order to get it off your chest. So watch right there. See how that elbow drifts towards your face? Then you have to shove it back, and it kind of complicates the lift a little bit, and it's going to add some instability to your shoulder. And then the last thing I'll mention is I think you could pin your legs back a little bit, get a little bit more stability that way, and it's also going to help you bring your chest up and your shoulders back. So by bringing those feet back, it could possibly solve the issue that I was talking about with that bar path. But like I said, some people will get away with that little bit more loose and lax bench technique. And I know some really good benchers just prefer to let their elbows drift. So that's a preference thing. I think you have some potential there to work on that though. And then finally here we have deadlift. I think this was a 116 pound triple. The first thing that I do notice off of the bat, you use a little bit of a roll technique where you're pulling the bar into yourself and then pushing your shins to the bar at the same time. And this is a technique that I used to use. And the problem with it is it can sometimes result in inconsistencies as far as where you're starting your pull from. So if you watch these slow motion replays, I think it's one of the reps, you start your pull a little bit early and the bar drifts in front of you a little bit. and it causes just a little bit of like inconsistency in the lift. So that one was a pretty solid rep, and I think it's either this one or the last one, we'll see. Where, yeah, right there, see how the bar just ever so slightly drifted in front of you? And it makes the lockout a little bit harder than it has to be, because you're spending the whole lift trying to reel it back in towards you. And I think this lift, you know, a similar thing happens. See, you've got that gap between you and the bar, and it makes it really tough. You're pulling back to get that lockout instead of just trying to push your hips forward. So that's maybe something I would adjust. Try and line that bar up first, and then just sit yourself into position with the bar, and that'll kind of help clean up your lockout, which seems to be your kind of struggle area. But once again, super solid lifting from Andrew here. Just really picking out some minute details for those extra kilos here and there. So thank you for sending those in. Hopefully those help. Anyone else, if you'd like me to take a look at your lifts, send them over to me either on here or through Instagram, and I'll be happy to take a look. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, happy lifting.